Welcome to Life After the Hardwood, or whatever we're going to call this, Scott and Donny show.
Yes.
I don't know. We're still trying to figure that part out, but this is where we talk about everything after that buzzer sounded for us.
Yeah, I'm Scott Burrell, Hamden native, UConn Husky.
Hamden.
Blue Jays, old Blue Jays player.
Oh,
and
now he wants to
yeah,
say Blue
yeah, I
Jays.
had to
I
add that in there. Yeah,
years.
since they're good. And now I'm coaching at Southern Connecticut State University.
I'm Donnie Marshall, another Husky, younger Husky. I am a television broadcaster, Fox Sports, NBC Sports, couple decades now, running my mouth on TV. So it's awesome to be here. What are we going to do, Scott, every week?
We're going to have fun, talk about great stuff. We're going to talk about each other, learn more about each other, but also go into a lot of things that make us curious and figure out what makes everybody else curious.
This is Life After the Hardwood. Let's tip it off.
Yeah, and we need your help with the name, too. And it's funny, Donnie, we've known each other for so long. We played golf 10 times a summer, 20 times a summer, but we never really talked to each other. And because we're always competing against each other.
Well, you complain to me.
No, you're always not giving enough strokes. That's number one. But it's funny that we're sitting down talking and we're still gonna learn about each other.
There are probably some things that when people listen to this, they will say, well, "How do they not know this about one another?" But I think we do, and I think when I ask you things, it's going to be basically stories that I think people would love to hear that you've already told me. I think the first one, Scott.
Yes.
The first one I have to ask you because I know a lot of people, NBA fans. You went from guarding Michael Jordan to coaching players, and we will talk about the Chicago days at some point. But what has been, and I get this question a lot, what's been the biggest adjustment from going from playing in the NBA, playing with the greatest player to ever play, and yes, the greatest player to ever play, the GOAT.
Yes, he is.
To coaching. What's been the biggest adjustment for you?
I would say the biggest adjustment is learning to coach different attitudes and different mentalities of who wants to be a competitor, who doesn't want to be a competitor, who wants to get pushed harder, who doesn't want to be pushed harder. It's you got to find self-motivated players that want to grind to be better. Some of the great players or some of the very good players just want to be left alone because they think they're good enough. But I try to find those guys, the diamond in the rough, that you can make better on and off the court. You improve their life. That's the hardest part, trying to find that guy that's special.
Tell you, the hardest part about us doing the show is going to be there are so many layers to what you do in coaching, and we're at some point, yes, we're going to sound like two old men who walk to practice barefoot in the snow. We wore socks on our hands as gloves. So yes, bear with us.
Too. Yes.
We will. That actually is true.
Yes.
But there will be a time where we're going to probably kvetch a little bit and talk about how and sound like old men. And I think the coaching and the changing in basketball is probably one of those things that we could go on and on and on about
for a long time.
So.
Yeah. So, Donnie, you had a great career playing at UConn, coming from Federal Way, Washington. You went to the NBA, drafted in the NBA, and now you're broadcasting. What made you want to do that, and how much are you enjoying it since you're not playing anymore?
What made me want to do it was that I knew my NBA money was running out fast because I liked shoes and I liked clothes. So I'm like, what else can I do that is going to allow me to, look, it's a different lifestyle, playing in the NBA. I'm like, what's going to afford me the ability to live comfortably when I get done? And coaching was one of those things. And I love the game and study the game. I both still, we love it. Even when we were players, we were an extension a little bit of the coach, probably you with MJ and me with Jason Kidd. But I think, the simplest way to put it is I could put a sentence together, Scott.
Yeah, true.
A lot of people can't.
You're right about that.
A lot of athletes can't. Let's just face it. We can say it because we're athletes, but a lot of guys can't articulate, one message of why something happened and how it's happening. And it really was, to me, the next best thing to playing. It wasn't coaching. It was talking about the game. And honestly, I've learned to it took me a long time, though, Scott. It took me probably 10, 12 years. Just now I'm over 2 decades of doing, being in television. But I call it edutainment now because I get to educate.
We make up our own words here.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
Words, names, Because I get to educate and entertain at the same time. So it's a win-win for me. I'm around the game. I get to see the coaches. I will say this though, Scott. The one thing that I miss, and this probably leads to my question for you, the one thing that I miss about playing that I don't get in TV is the competition, competing. And that leads to my next question. And I think I know the answer, but what is, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit, what's the best part of coaching?
I would say the best part is when you implement what you've learned to your players, and that's just not just on the court, like the life lessons you've learned, the struggles you've had. You tell them about your struggles and how you fought through the tough times, but also now teaching them those situations and how they figure out and helping them get through the tough times.
You get to compete still,
you
too.
You do still get to compete.
You personally get to compete against the other coaches.
You do, but you have to tone it down from where you were as an athlete. As a coach, now it's you teach your kids, you prepare them, put them on the court. Now they have to go do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. But it's hard to find those guys that listen and can bring it on the court. What you taught them, what you prepared them to do during practice. But when they do it, it's gratifying. It's like that's where I get my thrill, my competitiveness feels fulfilled when my team or my players succeed in what their task is, and winning. Obviously, winning's the most fun thing to do. But even in the loss, are the lessons learned? Did your team get better? Did your player individually get better? So those are things like you like to see as a coach.
How do you the thing that I struggled with was trying not to be a little bit of a hypocrite calling games because you can be that in coaching too. Yeah. If there's something you didn't do as a player, but now you expect your players to do it for you, it's almost like you jinxed yourself because it's like growing up. Like my mom used to say, "I hope you have a son." Because then you'll know what my struggles are with you and your brother.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I do have a son. And I'm learning what those struggles are.
Yeah.
But it's the same, for me in television, it's okay. I remember guys saying, Donnie Marshall can't do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So I have to slow down and not be that same guy.
Yeah.
I would imagine in coaching it's the same way where it's okay, I didn't want to go and do this. And sometimes maybe I didn't, but I got to push them to do it.
That's a great question. That's a great topic too. Like days off. Like there's a lot of things you did or did not do, or your coach did and you
days
did not
off
like.
Aren't days off.
No.
Not in basketball.
No, they're not. Because you got to do something. Because you got to keep your cardio up, keep your game sharp.
Yeah.
But I do carry over some things I didn't like from my coaches and I don't do with my players, or things I did like that I allow my players to do. But I mean that goes the same way for you as a commentator, Is it hard for you to talk about things that you see in players on the court doing now that you did and did not like, but at the same time not being too critical of how they are?
Yeah, again, it's there's so many similarities to I think coaching college and what I see from my chair calling games. Because you don't want to be that guy that says, well, when I played.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
They're watching their favorite player, their kid, their nephew, whoever it might be, someone on their team. So you don't want to be that, well, when I played or when we did this or we did that. So you have to be aware of it's still a show. It's still entertainment. It's still, you're supposed to be there to not only just talk about a game and let what's on the floor, let them shine. Your personality is a part of it. That's why they call it color. I add the color to the game. So I early on, I don't think I understood that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm in a groove. I love it. I understand. I want to tell everyone's story. It's not so much about what a kid can't do, at least from my perspective. It's what they give the game, the sacrifices their parents made, sacrifices their grandparents, whoever, even the kid, the sacrifices that the players have made to get to this point. I think, if you can put them on that pedestal, it makes more people watch, and then the more people watch, the more people see me, and the more I can run my mouth. And
you like to do that.
You
do like talking. He does like everyone. If you don't know, Donnie Marshall does like talking. Yes, he does.
So it's this is a perfect format for us. I got my last one for you, Scott. So Calhoun, Coach Calhoun he's taught us a lot. He's taught us some 4-letter words, taught us some words that we
Longer
never
than
really,
that, too.
Taught us some words that I had really never heard before I got to Connecticut from Washington State. But also Phil Jackson taught you probably calm.
Yes.
With your emotions. How do you balance both of those from what you learned from those two Hall of Fame amazing coaches?
Yeah. Well, you take a piece of both of them. And like you can't be as aggressive as Coach Calhoun was. As much as we loved it.
Not today.
No, not today. You cannot, definitely. As much as we loved Coach Calhoun challenging us every day, kids and society itself doesn't allow you to be like that anymore. Things have changed. You got to be a little more calmer the way you speak to kids, a little less direct, and maybe try to find a different way to get your point across. But like when we played there, we loved it. Because we would talk about it in the locker rooms after what coach said, but it motivated us at the same time. Phil Jackson, like you said, was more of a Zen coach that had a psychologist come in, more a mental coach, a coach that lets you be you on the court. If you made mistakes, he'll let you play through your mistakes. Coach Calhoun, if you made a mistake, a lot of guys would be taken out of the game. But Coach Jackson was there for you on and off the court to talk to.
So I think that's
hey, thanks for helping me with the name, Phil Jackson. I lost Phil Jackson's name because I was like,
look,
Phil.
I try to forget Coach Calhoun's name at times because I have PTSD. So I get it. I completely understand. But that's kind of that's a pretty good first. I think good start to a brand new show for us.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You know what? I think more of the same.
Yeah.
Stay with us, and we'll come back. We'll try to be better, or at least Scott will try to be better because I know I was good. Hey, welcome back. Hey, Donny, I have a lot of questions to ask you about your broadcasting. And you've been a broadcaster for 20 years. How did it start for you? It's interesting. From golf, believe it or not.
Really?
Believe it or
You
not.
must have played with someone that was involved.
There was someone on the course at the time. I think it's interesting. It goes back. I had one of my favorite teammates. Obviously, you're the favorite, but I had a teammate when I got to the NBA, Bobby Phills, and Bobby Phills played golf, and he had told me, and I didn't play golf at that point. This was '95 when I was drafted, and Bobby, he said, you should come out with me, Rook, and play some golf. I'm like, man, golf's for sissies, man.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought growing up. And also golf was not for poor kids.
True.
So Bobby said, come out, you got to try it. So I went out with him, and he said, listen, I know you think golf is for sissies. He's like, but here's the beautiful thing about golf is you can be rich, you can be funny, you can be handsome, you can be all these great things and have all these great accolades, but the best thing in life are the relationships you make. And he said, you will not make better relationships than on the golf course because you really find out about people in that 4 hours, their character, their integrity, lack thereof.
Yeah.
You won't find that. He said, you won't play basketball with a 65-year-old doctor at the time when we were in the NBA. He's like, but you'll be on the golf course with a 65-year-old lawyer. So that's kind of how I started playing golf. But I was in a tournament, and there were some producers behind me from a network, and they had left their card. I had left. They had left their card, and when we came back to the course to play the next week, someone said, "Hey, someone left their card for you." And my agent I didn't really have an agent at the time, and they said, "Give us a call. We have an opening." And sure enough, it was a chance to go audition for the Boston Celtics and do some studio stuff, and that turned into a 9-year career. But it really started. It started on the golf course because someone had heard me do interviews in college, and I went and interviewed and did an audition, and that's kind of how the broadcasting thing started. I should say I got to give credit to our local college radio station, WTIC. They Wayne Norman and
Joe,
Joe D helped me get on air, get my voice out there during some games, and that was kind of the beginning. It wasn't the start, but it was the beginning.
Nice. Now, doing a lot of stuff live, are you scared of messing up or saying the wrong things on live TV? Because it goes on nowadays. It goes on the internet, and you're a meme.
You got to know when that mic is hot.
Yes, yes, you
I
do.
mean, you definitely have to know when. It's funny. You say you're a meme. It's like your legacy nowadays can be a soundbite and not a career.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so you have to be aware of that. But you got to know when the mics are hot. And even nowadays, there's so many people are offended by so many different things. What you eat, what you like, their favorite color, car you don't like, this, that, and the other. So yeah, you have to be aware. It's not like we're playing basketball and you turn the ball over and on live TV and you just keep it going. It's you have to just be aware of what you say. I've always understood that my words mean something.
Yeah.
So it's helped me just be myself, and you know me well enough. I'm not gonna use profanity and say things that I shouldn't say, but every once in a while, you just gotta know that mic is on, especially when you think you're in a commercial break.
Yeah, that
like
is
I
true.
told you when we started this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, the game has evolved since we played a long time ago. Players are different. Their styles are different. Did you in your time of broadcasting, did you have to change your style with today's game?
No, I don't think I changed my style. I think I'm always trying to promote the teams, the coaches, the obviously the players, the schools. I think I had to change my energy a little bit. It's
Yeah.
like in a game. I remember as a freshman, you know this, and you already were at school a couple years. We come in as freshmen going a million miles an hour because we don't know the routine. But you, as a sophomore, junior, you kind of know. You ease into it. You don't have to go a million miles an hour to do everything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I started my career. I was flying through things and trying to get you want, it's okay to have leftovers.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to eat everything at the table, meaning I take notes, I do all
Well,
my stuff. and I try-
Dave, be careful when you
Well,
say
yeah,
that.
well,
I like to eat.
I've been trying to tell you, you don't have to eat everything. Buffets, man.
Yeah,
it's-
I like to eat.
It's all you can eat,
Yeah.
not all you can take. You try to take everything home. But I do my notes, and I would say I try to jam them all in.
Yeah.
And then over time, I learned that you don't have to, leave some in the fridge for the next time.
Okay. Nice. Good. Okay. When you retired, did it scare you? Did you not know what your next step in life was? Did you panic? Because obviously you're making great money, then it shuts off. It gets cut off. What made you find broadcasting to be your next job?
I was not scared at all, Scott. I really wasn't. I kind of knew when I got done playing, I wanted to be in TV.
Okay.
I just knew. I would watch our games. I would hear a lot of self-promotion from broadcasters.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of former athletes, and I thought, why can't I be one of those guys who's the voice for us?
Yeah.
Listen, that was a good segment. You know what? I'm going to pepper you when we come back with the same questions, a little bit tougher.
Oh,
actually. So
I'm gonna start sweating already.
be ready. Yes,
sweating
get a drink,
already.
and we'll see you in a second.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
It's and Scott is still here. I thought he would run
Be
out
gone
after
by
that
now?
last segment. Yeah, I'm tired of hearing my voice already. But it's been a long time. You've been listening to me for some 30 years. So
But I enjoy it.
You know how to. I
I
know
enjoy
you
it.
enjoy my voice. Look, I want to talk about. I want to call this lessons of the game. When I now pepper you with some questions.
Okay.
Look, as players, we always have this thing about energy in the locker room.
Yes.
And, one is competition, but the other part we don't hear a lot about is that energy from the locker room. What did you replace when you retired with that energy from the locker room? The competition we know as a coach, but you have to replace that energy with something when you're done playing. How did you replace that?
To be honest, Donnie, I asked you that question about were you nervous about when you retired? I was nervous because it's hard to fulfill and find the passion that you had for sports. And everything we've done in life, we look for that challenge. And we were never the best players on any team, but we loved the challenge of trying to be very good at what we did. But I didn't know what I was going to do. So I didn't know what I was going to what I was looking for. I talked to finance people trying to get in finance. I was like, no, that's not for me. I talked to my buddy Joe Wolf, who passed away a few months ago, former teammate of mine who passed away. He got me involved in coaching because that's what I wanted to do. My father was a coach at Yale for years and at Hill House for years, and I wanted to follow those footsteps. And like I said before, it's the thrill being successful, but helping someone else be successful. That's what I love, that challenge, and that's the fire. I mean, plus we go on the golf course. That's my my other passion that I love, that challenge of not playing against you, but playing against the course. If you do like you, but we both know, if you do well on the golf course, I'm gonna do well against you.
Right.
And it's nothing better than being on the course for 4 hours with a good friend, talking about a lot of things and just enjoying life.
You know, it's interesting. And just for the record, I was the best player on my high school team. Okay, so I don't know. I can't speak for you. You
But that's where it stopped, right there, high school.
Okay.
I don't know about UConn. I don't know about the NBA.
Record, I just want to say I was the best player on my high school team. I think someone tells me Scott was the best player on his high school team as well. But, you know, I do want to ask you, and you touched on it a little bit, but I have to ask you about, you see these great players, you know, the Larry Birds, Magic Johnson, I think, if you go way back.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of those guys nowadays. I guess you could put Jason Kidd as one of those.
Oh, yeah. I love
kind
watching
of
Jason.
more modern guys that were not just good players but great players,
Yeah.
and then they go back and coach. A lot of them don't have success because for a lot of reasons, but maybe that the play and the practice and the work ethic is not at the level that they had theirs. How for you as a player, because you know you joke that you weren't the best player on any of your teams, but you are arguably known as the greatest athlete to ever come out of the state of Connecticut. And again, we have a lot to talk about with you. I have a lot to promote with Scott Burrell during these shows, and it's all worth it. But as a coach, when you know you've played at the highest level, let's just say that,
Yeah.
and you've played with the greatest player and players in the world, to now go coach players that, let's face it, every player thinks they're going to get paid and play professional. If not in the NBA, they're going to make a lot of money. How have you managed that in terms of your own mental transition to say, okay, I have to have some patience here. I know this is not my story, but how has that been for you in terms of teaching and also knowing that these players think they're probably better than they are?
Well, they all think they're better than me. They all think they're better than MJ.
Of
So
course.
so
which is crazy.
Yeah, which is crazy because
Nice.
they all think MJ's not good, which is even crazier. LeBron or Kobe, MJ's never spoken about being the greatest of all time with this with the young generation. But mine is just basically trying to push these guys to their limit, knowing that what I did, it doesn't matter. Get the most out of them, educate them, and you might not be successful, you might not make a lot of money, but leave a legacy. You want each kid to leave a legacy, make an impact on the school while they're there, and try to win championships. Because you know what? You want to be able to go back to your school in 4 or 5 years with your kids, your family, whatever you have as you got older. But to see a banner up there with your name up there, or to mention that you were part of a championship team or a successful team, there's nothing better than that. To have your kids come back and make that you made an impact in their lives.
Any of these players ever prove you wrong in terms of you thought a player maybe couldn't cut it? You don't have to say any names, but he impressed you and said, oh, you know what, I was going to put him in over you, or not give up on a kid because you'll never do that as a coach, but just to say, you know what, we're going to go a different direction. Are there any kids or one that comes to mind? Don't have to say any names.
Yeah.
Because coaches mostly say, oh, I got it all figured out. I know who my team is. No one's going to surprise. I've seen it all. Have you had any players like that?
No, because I look for guys who are diamond, like I said, diamond in the roughs, and guys that will overachieve. And that's how coaches become successful. That's how teams become successful. Like Tom Izzo, he never has any top five-star recruits, but you always want to make kids better. And if you find a self-motivated kid, you did your job. But you're looking for that anyway. So it doesn't really surprise me when someone is successful, that I did not think that was going to be as successful.
Scott, I think that was a good first show, man. I think we should try to do it again if they'll keep the
Donnie,
doors unlocked
if you pay me, I will do it again. It depends if you pay me.
I got at least 25 cents in my pocket.
Hey,
we got
I'll
to figure
tell
out
you.
if they'll leave the doors open for us.
I think they're great people here at Channel 8. I think they will.
And we're going to come up with a name. We're going to have the fans at some point help us come up with a name.
They need to help us, yes.
If you've heard what he's given me, it's just not gonna cut it.
And what he's
did I say that out loud?
Yes, he did. And his names are okay. They're nothing special either. But
well, that was fun, man.
It was. But I also want to thank Rich at Channel 8 and Channel 8, all the people at Channel 8, Jeff Flax for allowing us this platform to have fun, to bring our voices back to the state of Connecticut and whoever's listening. And it's gonna get better and better.
You better hope all those people are okay with you saying their names. They may not want to be associated with this mess that's happening right here.
Well, you know what? I think. Well, we beat them on a golf course. Yeah, we beat them on a golf course, so we can do whatever we want.
Well, we appreciate everybody listening, watching. Come back, celebrate it with us. Come back and listen to me and Scott run our mouth. Well, me run my mouth, and Scott just kind of stomach it.
I enjoy it. I've done it for 30 years. I know him for 30 years, so I'm used to it, Donnie.
That was fun. Let's do it again sometime soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.